everybody, and welcome back to the stream. It's Friday, and you know what that means? It's time for Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects that you can find around your house. I promise. Super promise. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi. Welcome back to the stream. It's the end of the week, which is a good thing. Hi, Steve. Good to see you. Oh, my goodness. It's been a week. My friends, we're heading into the end of the year. We've got like 2 weeks left, and it does feel, in many ways, like 2020 is just trying to get a few last, like, knife twists in. And I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie. I'm roll frickin' tired. A couple of people who I very much love have tested positive for COVID. Third one waiting on test results, and it's just like, 2020, you could have let us go out with dignity, but instead you just thought you'd get one last gut punch in. Well, the joke's on you, because I have the best fitness community in the world, and we're strong. Yeah, I'm just tired. I'm tired, my friends. And it's hard to know what to say, I'm just really tired. I'm very grateful to be here, though. Oh my God, and we just crossed over into 50 subscribers, which is huge. Ooh, good for your sister. That's exciting. Yes, we finally hit 50 subscribers, which is super exciting. And it means that the only metric that I still need to hit in order to be eligible for affiliate status is having an average of 3 viewers per stream. And I'm really not clear on the magic voodoo witchcraft that Twitch uses to calculate that, because, you get these reports from them, and it's like, yeah, you had 16 unique viewers, but only 2 average viewers. And I'm like, how does that work? So it probably has something to do with the proportion of time that you actually spend with the stream. I don't know. Active? I really don't know. It's weird. But anyway, we're close, which is super cool. And that would be a hell of a, end of 2020 thing to be able to hit. I don't think we'll be able to hit it in the next couple of weeks because of how long it takes the calculations to roll over. I hate black box metrics. I will tell you, there's nothing I hate more than metrics that are deliberately designed to be obtuse. But here we are, and you know what? We're just gonna roll with it. But I'm very excited that we have 50 subscribers now. That is super cool. It is so wonderful to have you all here, and you are definitely helping me to keep going, to keep feeling good about some things. Ooh, Melinda's annual Honest Christmas. I can vouch for this link, so anyone who wants to click on it, Melinda is a lovely YouTuber, a singer, and I think she's great. But total minutes actively watched over total minutes streamed. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so it still feels a little magic voodoo witchcrafty, but at least I have a better understanding of it. Thank you, Steve. This is why you make friends with people who are, already affiliate status. And by make friends, I mean we've known each other since we were, 18 and 19? Something ridiculous? Good God. When you get to that point in your adulthood, when you realize that you are adult enough that you have had friends who you made in adulthood who you've been friends with for almost 2 decades, because it's a wild realization. I've been having that realization a lot recently, just going, wow, Wow. All right. Cool. But you know what? We've made it to Friday, and that is a good thing. And last week's class kicked my ass, my friends. I don't know about you, but holy crap. Oh man, it was intense. I had some soreness and some stiffness all weekend, which is definitely unusual for me. So that was really exciting, honestly. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So maybe we'll have that again this week. It's not going to be as leg focused. It's gonna be, and I'm going to introduce a couple of new exercises today, which is nice. I'm trying to do that a little bit more frequently. Look, if Captain America doesn't skip leg day, then I don't see why you should either. Besides, time is an illusion. So did you really have 2 leg days in 1 week, or are you just working your legs out a lot? I don't know, but I do know that it's time for the pre-class checklist. So we got our water. Yay. Make sure you're drinking some of it. Make sure you're drinking water, my friends. It's important to stay hydrated. It helps you stay healthier. And, you know, we can use all the help with that we can get right now. It's just, oh, what a time. What a frickin' time. Yeah, so make sure that you have your water. Make sure that you have your comfy clothes on. Look, every day is leg day because you have to use your legs every day. So leg day already doesn't have meaning. We can traipse along this this path as far as you want to, but it can't have been that terrible because you're back in class. You get your mat or your mat size space on the floor, and if you're using a fitness wearable, let's turn those on right now to a strength training setting, not high intensity interval training today. All right, let us see here. I'd say it's time to warm up. That's on. Look at me. I'm so organized this week. Keep your fingers crossed that it lasts into next week because I do like this feeling. All right, my friends. It's time to warm up. Oh, hang on. No, it's not. It's time for 2 advisories because this is functional home fitness. I hope you have your pile of stuff over here. Yes, 2 quick advisories if you are new to class. The first one specific to this class, the second one more general for free weight training, particularly free weight training arm exercises. So if you are new to this class, hi, welcome. We're doing weight training because you can still do some awesome weight training with stuff that you can find around your house. However, that stuff is not nicely marked and designed for ease of exercise, okay? It doesn't have, oh, this is 15 pounds or this is 20 kilograms written on the side of it. So it is harder for us to be able to load deliberately. So if you are new to class and you were just, you know, pulling random stuff and getting started in that way, err on the side of caution when you load yourself initially, okay? Don't go weighing yourself down. Don't find the heaviest thing that you can and go, all right, we're going to go with this. Go lighter to start. We're going to be going through these exercises a few times. So if you go through the first set and you're like, all right, well, that was probably a little lighter than I needed. Cool. Then you can add weight later. That's why bags are really great for this class because you can, you know, add stuff and take stuff out. But err on the side of caution when you begin so that you can load safely. Second advisory, more specific to free weight training and something that I wish somebody had told me when I started doing more free weight training in my fitness routine. As you probably are aware, humans are not symmetrical creatures. We have stronger sides and weaker sides. We have sides that are better at balancing and sides that are worse. And when we load ourselves for free weight exercises, it's usually we have 2 weights, 1 in each hand, and they should be the same weight. And frequently, our instinct is to go, okay, well, I want to ramp my weaker side up to where my stronger side is, so I'm going to load based on what my stronger side can do, and that'll help, you know, pump my weaker side up more quickly. Nope. You always want to load based on what your weaker side can manage. If you are overloading your weaker side, then it is going to have to do unhealthy compensations to even try and move the weight through space. This is how you set yourself up for an injury, and this is potentially how you give yourself chronic issues that can last a lifetime. That's how I've ended up with shoulder issues, and let me tell you, I wouldn't wish those on anyone. So load based on what your weaker side can do, what is challenging but doable for that side, okay? It may feel a little light for your stronger side, but that's okay. This is all part of being smart and being safe about our exercise, because our goal is to be able to keep moving for as long as we can, all right? Okay, there are the advisories. Now it's time for warming up. So, everybody on your mats, on your backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee, and as soon as you hear that timer go off, we will begin with our hip rocks and bridges. Oh God, you did not hear that timer go off because I unhooked my phone from the speaker the other night. Yep, that'll do it. All right, my apologies, friends. I was all proud of my organization. I was mostly there. I'm not used to unhooking this thing, which is the problem. All right. Hey, we got there. We got there. So now, back on your mats, back on your backs. 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee. And there we go. Now you can hear what's going on. Doing our hip rocks and bridges, starting out nice and relaxed. We are not going for 100%. And I'll try to dig in a little bit more into form today, because I think it's been a few classes since I've really dug into that. So when we are doing our hip rocks and bridges, the hip rock is also a time to engage your core muscles, okay? So I'm not just pushing my hips off the floor and then they just magically go upwards. I'm contracting my abdominal muscles, and that is pulling my hips up off of the floor. And you don't have to go high, but you still need to make sure that you feel that core engagement, because that is part of the exercise. Now, when we're doing the bridge, we want to start, before we bridge, by coming up onto the ball of the standing foot, okay? So that we can get that bridge a little bit higher in the air. Otherwise, we're a little bit stuck and it's just a weird position for your knee. So up onto the ball of the foot, then bridge, lower both, and go again. You will also probably feel some stretching in your hip, because we've got our ankle crossed across this knee, and every time I go for the hip rock, I'm sort of pulling this leg closer to me, which is pulling this whole hip apparatus closer to me, and that can give you a nice stretch in the hip, very similar to like a pigeon stretch, if you've done that in a yoga class at some point. So that can be an enjoyable bonus. All right, so now we are moving into our leg sequence. So we start in a nice straight line, doing our best Jane Fonda impression. And so when we say straight line, we mean from head to toe. So if that's something that you struggle to get into without help, you know, without somebody actually looking and going, yes, you're there, or no, you need to adjust this, use a guide like the long edge of your mat and just set yourself up along that edge, and then start to really pay attention to how it feels to be in that position. Also, when you're lifting this leg up, make sure you're engaging the glute That's going to help pull the leg into line with the body as well so it doesn't float forward. Don't actively pull it behind you though. I used to do that a lot. All right, now we take that top foot, put it flat on the floor in front of that bottom leg, and we are now lifting the bottom leg here, okay? And we are also trying to maintain this knee positioning. So we've got the knee pointing straight up towards the ceiling, and if I were to, bend it forward, it would go straight over my feet. This is our first opportunity to really dig into safe knee positioning, particularly for squat exercises. And depending on your natural hip flexibility, this may be easier or harder. So on this side, I can just sort of set my leg here. I don't have to really engage intensely in my hip to pull that knee backwards because I've already got the flexibility. You'll see on the other side, it's not like that. All right, and now our third exercise is our beach pose. We've got the foot flat on the floor behind the bottom knee now. So now we've got a really nice stable position. It's not going anywhere. We're not having to work hard to keep that knee pointing up towards the ceiling. We're not worried about our hips rolling forward or backwards or anything. And so we can really just focus in on lifting this leg. I know that my foot's getting cut off behind my pile of stuff, but I basically don't really care about the foot positioning for this. You can have your foot flexed, you can have your foot just sort of neutrally hanging, or you can have your foot pointed, whichever one feels more comfortable to you. I tend to go somewhere between flexed and a natural position, but that's just my personal preference. It's not something that I need everybody to copy. All right, so now we are on our second side. We're going through the same 3 exercises again. So starting with Jane. So think about what we were talking about on that first side. So when you engage your glute to lift the leg, I'm not wanting you to pull the leg backwards. When I first got the note, that was what I started doing. I was like, oh, pull the leg backwards. Weird. That feels like I'm really out of line, but I must have just been out of line that much in the other direction. But then I actually looked at myself and I was like, oh no, now I'm out of line in the opposite way that I was. So the engaging the leg stops it from drifting forward, okay? Engaging that glute brings it in line, not actively pulling it, okay? So there's a difference in sensation. You may have to try a few times and maybe have somebody watch you before you will get that feeling. All right, so on this side, to keep my knee pulled up towards the ceiling, I have to really engage the musculature in my hips, okay? I can't just sort of set it and forget it, or the knee will start to cave forward like this. And it's not that bad in this position because I'm not in a standing position. I'm not putting any weight on the leg or on the knee. So this is a great place for me to figure out this form and this practice. But once we're on our feet, once we're doing squat positions, I need to be able to make sure that my knee is always safely straight over my feet rather than caving in towards the midline. So now's the time to start. All right, back to that beach pose, nice and relaxed for our final piece of the leg sequence. Then we'll move into opening up our backs and our hips, and just those are the areas that I think really appreciate the warm-up the most, because a lot of us are working from home, sitting at desks all day, or just sitting in general all day. A lot of others of us are having to work front-facing jobs that require us to be standing all day, which is also not great. And in either situation, we don't get a lot of opportunities to stretch out our backs or our hips. So This next component of the warm-up has a lot of active rest exercises to help warm up those areas and stretch them out a little bit after a day or a week of not really getting a lot of movement. So we start here with our scorpion twists, keeping those elbows planted on the floor like this. All right, so want to make sure that they do not pull off the floor at all. So if you are like, oh, I can totally twist super far, all I have to do is lift my elbow, then you can't twist that far yet, okay? So this provides a nice stopper. It tells us where our flexibility is and where it isn't, and it helps us to better notice when our flexibility increases, you know, because maybe next week you come back and you're like, oh, I was able to twist a lot farther before I felt like my elbow wanted to come off the floor. That's really exciting, okay? All right. Up, grabbing our imaginary PVC pipe over our heads, and we are doing nice, big torso rotations. And I want you to change directions every 2, I'd say, maybe 3. You just want to make sure you're evening yourself out because we're not going to have a second timer interval to do this. So I don't want you going in one direction the whole time and then moving on to a totally different exercise and being like, oh, well, now I'm very off balance. So making sure that the movement is being generated from the hips, not from the arms. The arms are staying right here next to the head, and the bend starts from the hips like this, and I'm just bringing the whole torso down through the bottom. All right, now squats. Hey, hey, hey. So we're still holding that pull. Imaginary PVC pipe above our heads. So again, our arms are staying in this exact same position. They're not moving around. And this is our first opportunity to check in on our knee form for squats. So if you are not able to have your feet in this shoulder width or wider position and to squat down and up without your knees starting to cave in, then narrow your stance. Try it again. Okay, cool. I can maintain this. So this will be the distance apart that I keep my feet for this exercise for, you know, however many classes I need to before I go, okay, let's test it again. Oh, cool. I've got that strength now. All right. Samson stretches. This is one of my favorites. Really digs in and gets that hip flexor right there. So we're just taking a nice big lunge, straight back leg. Okay, so it's not a double bent leg lunge. And raising our arms straight up above us, not trying to reach behind ourselves. You really want to focus the stretch on the front of the hip flexor. So right here, keeping those hips pointing forward, not letting them open out away from each other. So no matter where the leg is, not letting the hip go here. Always pointing straight forward. All right. Now we take this wide squat. We've got our hands on our knees, which is going to help keep them safely over our feet. And we are twisting one shoulder at a time in towards the midline, okay? Our shoulders are the only things moving. We are not coming up and down out of this squat position. We're not letting a knee try and follow the shoulder in as it twists. So the only thing that's moving are our shoulders. Getting that nice twist. We already got the twist in the lower to mid back. Now we're giving the upper back a little bit of attention, okay? and just holding that position. Feels great to me now, but it took me a long time to get to that place. All right, and now heading into cardio, starting off with jumping jacks. And even though we're heading into the cardio section, we're still not ramping up our energy output to 100%, okay? So if we think of the warm-up sequence as a boot-up sequence, we're moving into the final stages of that, all right? We're getting our cardiovascular system dialed in for the work, so getting our heart rate going a little faster, getting our breath coming a little faster, so it moves that oxygen more quickly through our bodies. But that does not require me to be doing full, huge jumping jacks like this, okay? You really can just do bare minimum jumping jacks, is what I would call them, all right? And then, second to last is our kick throughs. So remember, if you're still getting the hang of this exercise, then go slowly, okay? So you want to make sure that your shoulder is as close to straight over your wrist as possible. You want to make sure that your standing leg is 90-degree angle, knee pointing up towards the ceiling while I'm kicking this foot and leg across. So not letting my butt sink down to the floor and not letting this knee cave forward. Because if I do either of those, then when I try to move to the other side, I'm going to put some unhealthy torque pressures on my knee, okay? So just, if you're still trying to figure out all those components, slow and steady, totally fine. And now we head into our final exercise, which is everybody's favorite, burpees. So plank, push-up, no, wave push-up. So we jump back to a plank, and then let the hips come down, chest come down, and then right back up, making sure to keep your elbows in by your sides the whole time, and then giving yourself a nice big victory clap up at the top. Oh, yeah. And then this is how we round out our warm-up fun. We're feeling all of our muscles moving, ready to go. Energy systems are online. Yeah. Good job, everybody. And now, let's grab some water. Very important. Hello, my dear. Welcome, welcome. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Water is good. Water is definitely good. I can tell that I'm stressed because I've got lots of tension in my neck and it's definitely causing some headaches, which is always fun. Yay. Everything aches from shoveling. Let me tell you, one of my clients texted me the other day and was like, I don't know what's on the calendar for today, but I'm going to count my exercise as snow blowing. And I was like, you do that, because let me tell you, that's a good workout right there. I lived up in a much more mountainous area for a couple of years, and having to shovel the very steep, unpaved driveway so that cars could get out was, you just like, I have legitimately gotten all of my exercise for the day. I am good. So always keep that in mind. There are plenty of regular activities that we do that are absolutely excellent exercise, okay? So if you're out there shoveling all day, don't feel bad if you don't go to class. You've been working hard, okay? Mm-hmm. Ah, lots of water, lots and lots of water. Over a foot, good grief, yeah. Colorado still has snow on the ground because it's just been that cold since our last snow, but it's just been cold basically, which is nice. I like it. I like it when it feels like winter, considering the terrible impacts that climate change is having on the planet. Having those moments where you can be like, oh, it feels like the season it's supposed to be, can be really nice. All right, my friends. Well, let's talk about what we're doing today. So we have 6 exercises, 3 plus 3. Oh, it's been a long week. We have 6 exercises. 6 exercises. And we're going to go through them 3 times each. And oh yeah, don't worry about it. We'll get plenty more snow before the end of the season. I am not worried about that. Yeah, so 6 exercises, a couple of them new. One will require a chair. So while I'm explaining things, make sure you have a chair handy. Okay, so first exercise is going to be, it's called a ball pass through, because if I was doing this in class, I would have a weighted ball of some kind. Generally, not like a medicine ball, not quite as tightly packed as that. Maybe like a larger sort of sand-filled ball. For home, you can use a bag filled with books. You can use a heavy book. You know, anything that allows you to do the exercise I'm about to demonstrate, which is we are going to balance up on our tailbone, and I'm going to take my object in one hand. That's the other thing. You need to be able to maneuver this with one hand, okay? Which doesn't mean that you have to be able to hold it. You can balance it. So if you have something that you like but you can't, you know, get a grip around, that can be fine, okay? And so I'm going to take my object up and over between my legs, under one leg, pass it to my other hand, up, over, through, pass it back to the first hand. And so I'm just basically weaving a pattern. I am not ever putting my legs down on the floor, and we're just going back and forth and back and forth. I love this exercise. Oh, I can't believe it's taken me this long to bring it to you. Okay, second exercise is going to be a back plank off of a chair. So I would normally do this with a stability ball, okay? And again, if you have these equipment items at home, feel free to do this class with them. You are not required to use a book if you've got a medicine ball on hand. But, so I've got this chair. I'm going to put my legs up on it. Obviously, the further onto the chair your legs go, the easier the hold will be. So you can sort of shift the difficulty depending on that. And then we're just going to lift our butts up and we're planking, okay? And just holding that position. Alrighty? Third exercise is what? Oh, yes. Third exercise is our wide squat with the knee turn. So we get into that wide squat position, similar to the warm-up, but now I've got to hold those knees open on my own. And I'm going to have a weight in each hand. I use books for this. And I'm going to turn one knee and bring my hands together. So now I'm in a double bent leg lunge. Back to the center, other side, and just go back and forth, okay? Then, for fourth and fifth are going to be one-armed tricep extensions. You can use a bunch of different things. You can, like, I would probably be using a kettlebell for this. So you can simulate that by using a bag with a top handle, okay? And just up, and then bring the weight down behind your head, and then up, straight arm, down and up, okay? That simulates the motion really well, but can also be really uncomfortable depending on the size of the book or the bag. So you can also try with a book like that, okay? And then fifth exercise, we'll just be doing the other side of that. And then our last one is going to be one that is actually familiar. We're going to do those upright rows. So normally I would do upright rows with two objects, but when I'm doing this class, I tend to just use my top-handled laundry detergent, and we're just standing, lifting up to chest height. My elbows are parallel with the floor, and down, up, and down, controlling the weight the whole time, okay? All right, so that is our spread of exercises. So we start with the ball pass through, then the backwards plank off the chair, then we have the wide squat with the knee turn, then side 1 of triceps, side 2 of triceps, and upright rows, okay? Let's go for, you know what? Today, I'm not gonna give you a specific number of reps. I want you to go until you feel like you are coming close to losing the ability to maintain form, okay? And I want you to be honest with yourself about that. Remember, form is the most important thing about class. We talk about that all the time. So I don't want any heroes trying to muscle their way through that last rep, okay? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, don't worry. Ongoing reminders of exercises will take place. So we're starting with the ball pass through. So grab an object, balance on your tailbone, and here we go. So obviously this is working your core, because not only are you staying balanced up on your tailbone like this, very similar to that pike position that we use for TikToks, but you're also moving your legs around as you're moving your arms around, okay? So you will feel activation in all parts of your core muscles, obliques and abdominals. Woo! And I love this exercise. Usually, the balls that I have students use for it in class, when we're in person, are like 10-pound balls. So not inconsequential amount of weight. It's harder to get objects that heavy that are a nice consistent shape that you can maneuver easily when you're in the house. So a book works great. A small bag works great, you know. Whole point of this class is unlocking our natural creativity to make sure that we understand that we can get a great workout from the comfort of our own homes, even if we're not able or interested in going into a gym, all right? You can still work out with a cool crew with just random stuff. All right, so that is our cue to get ready for the back plank off of the chair, all right? I will try to let you know when a minute has passed, because obviously this one isn't about reps. So Remember to breathe, okay? We are not holding our breaths here. We do still need all that oxygen going into our body, going into our muscles, helping them to use their energy production systems. All right, without that oxygen, we can't break down the ATP that becomes our fuel source. So don't hold your breath and just be like, I'm holding this position, okay? Make sure that you are breathing the whole time, okay? Oh, I'm gonna have to bring this down to the floor so I can see it more easily, depending on where we are. Oh, man. So about a minute has gone by, just so you know, and we have 1 minute left in the timer before we switch to the next exercise. So obviously keep planking if you're up for it, or take a break, shake out, stretch a little, grab some water. Make sure you're still drinking water, my friends. This is the time when I remember I haven't moved my water to where it's closer to me. There we go. Yeah, important to keep hydrating throughout this, right? Oh, all right. So, this is fun. I like this. We've had 2 new exercises today, and we had a new exercise on Wednesday. I've definitely been getting to the place where, all right, now we're prepping for wide squat with a knee turn. I've been getting to the place where I'm like, all right, it's time for some new exercises, some new blood in my rotations. So I know I've talked about this a few times. I believe that I am going to try to do the stream I was talking about, where I'm going to call for people to give me suggestions for exercises, and then we're going to hang out on stream, and I'm going to look exercises up, suggestions that you have, things that I've been thinking about, and we're going to I'm going to test them out, sort of see how they feel, if they make sense, and we can just hang out and sort of come up with a new pool of exercises to work into our routines, because I think that would be fun. I think that would be fun. And, you know, I'm not the be-all and end-all of exercises, obviously. I am but one person, you know, doing fitness instruction. So all of you have no doubt taken plenty of other classes or done different activities and can think of like a really cool exercise or warm-up or something that you did in those activities. Let's bring some variation, you know? I've brought stuff from my dance training into this class, so there is a lot of opportunity. All right, getting ready for our tricep extensions. Okay, here we go. It's the other problem with using a backpack for this, is that it has so many additional straps that it frequently will get caught in weird places. So it's one of the things, you know, using a bag, I definitely have to be willing to put up with the rubbing. You know, the bag is just sort of dragging along my skin, which is not great, but is also not terrible. That bag is a little bit heavier than I would like. Maybe I'll take Tales from the Yawning Portal out of there. Yeah, I think having my D&D book and my my personal training textbook in there was a little bit heavier than I wanted. But it just goes to show that we have so many objects throughout our homes that can absolutely be used for a class like this. If you've ever picked up an object and gone, oh man, I could totally weightlift with this thing, now's the time to do that. This is exactly the time to do that. Play around, find different things. Do they have, maybe this thing is heavy enough but has a weird grip. Okay, so maybe that's not as good as this other object. It's a little bit lighter, but you can maneuver it and maybe add in extra reps to make up for the decrease in weight. You know, it's all about that creativity and about recognizing that we don't have to get completely thrown off when we don't have our exact setup in front of us. All right, side 2 for our tricep extensions. Now, the rest of the body is just in a nice, stable, standing position. So I've got my core and my glutes engaged to really just hold everything other than my shoulder, or other than my elbow really, in place, okay? I don't want to be moving around. I don't want to be wiggling. You know, I don't want to be moving at the hips and then also trying to maneuver this weight with my arm. So for those types of exercises, the single joint ones, I want to really make sure that I have a stable base that's not going anywhere, so I can focus my energy on, okay, what is moving and how do I move it safely and strongly, okay? So just check in with yourself on that. And it can be easy to be sort of going along and not notice when you lose that activation and then be like, why does everything feel a little bit more loosey-goosey? Oh, because I stopped activating my core, activating my glutes to hold me in that nice stable position, okay? So just things to think about. There's so many things to think about while we're working out, and it does get easier as things move out of conscious processing and into subconscious processing. You know, the more that you do this, all right, we're getting ready for the upright rows. The more that you do this, the more that your body and your brain get used to, okay, when I settle myself in this position, I want to make sure that my core and glutes are engaged so nothing else is moving around. And so I don't have to put as much conscious thought towards making sure that that activation stays in those stabilizing muscle groups. I'll check in every once in a while and just go, am I still there? I'm still there. Cool. And we do always want to check in because, you know, even the most expert of us can find ourselves losing little bits of form. You know, the mind wanders a little bit too far off of what we're doing, and suddenly you're like, oh, hang on, I don't think I'm doing the right thing anymore, okay? So no matter how experienced you are, it's always good to do those checks. I'm still doing those checks, and I'm still finding those points where I'm like, well, I just totally, my brain went in another direction, and I was no longer making sure that I had all those stabilizing muscle groups together, no longer making sure that I was paying close attention to my form. It happens to me, you know? And that's the thing. It's the thing I like to remind you of. If it can happen to, you know, the professional person teaching 4 classes a week, it can happen to anybody. So it has nothing to do with your level of experience or your level of skill. It just is something that we have to check in on, you know? And there is nothing wrong with that. Okay, my friends, time to go back through these exercises, starting with the ball pass through. Here we are. So this is our second time through these exercises. All right, so we will have one more after this and then be done with the sequence. So we want to make sure each time we come back around to one of these exercises that we are still holding on to the form, especially because we're doing we have a rotation of 6 exercises, you know? So when we're doing 4 exercises, we come back around to things pretty quickly. Not with 6. With 6, we have a good amount of time before we will come back to the ball pass through. So you always want to make sure that you are double checking on your form when you start these exercises, all right? Oh man, feeling good. Ooh, I need to not have a bag on the chair that I'm going to use for the next exercise. That would be helpful. Oh my goodness. Is that a new thing? Water, water, right? See, look, it's so easy to forget things, and that's why I'm here, to try and be that external reminder voice, okay? Fitness friend says, bring your water, make sure to hydrate, okay? In fact, I'm going to hydrate right now. Oh yeah, there we are. Okay, so back plank off a chair. We're coming back around to that. Remember, the further on the chair your legs are, the easier this is. So just keep that in mind when you're setting your positioning, okay? Ideally, we would, as I said, this would be an exercise I would do off a stability ball, and that adds an additional component of having to make those micro adjustments to keep balanced on the ball, okay? So, you know, if you try this exercise out with a stability ball at some point down the line, just be aware that there's a whole other component to it that we're not getting when we're just doing the plank off of a chair, because that chair, hopefully, is just chilling here, all right? I suppose you could use a rolling chair, but please don't use a rolling chair because that would be unstable in the wrong way. Yeah, just use a chair, 4 legs, firmly attached to the floor. Safety first, safety first, safety first, my friends. It's funny, you know, people keep sort of instinctively asking me like, oh, what are your plans for the holidays? And I'm like, I don't have plans for the holidays. There's a pandemic on, people. Like, do you have plans for the holidays? I'm staying at home in my pajamas and, you know, Zoom calling my parents. That's my plan for the holidays. But, you know, and it's like, hopefully for many of them, it's more habit than anything else, but I worry. Please, my friends, please, as we head back into the wide squat with the knee turn, please, please stay home. Please do not go to any family gatherings with people that you are not quarantining with in your daily life. Please do not get one test and then go, all right, cool. While I wait for those results, I'm going to keep moving through the world as if nothing is wrong. It is just terrifying to me. We're so close and yet so far. You know, we are. We've got a vaccine out. People are getting it. Steve's sister got her first dose. That's super exciting. It's there. But now is not the time to start behaving as if everything's done, okay? That time will be much further down the road when people have gotten their second doses of the vaccine, and it's no longer just being distributed to small populations of people, you know, working in hospitals, people in elder care facilities, politicians who are the reason that this pandemic is as bad as it is. We need to make sure that we are still treating this just as seriously until we get that wide distribution of the vaccine and actual herd immunity, which, spoiler alert, doesn't come from just letting a lot of people die of COVID. And I'm just so terrified. All right, going back to our tricep extensions. I am so terrified of people beginning to try to go, oh, well, everything's over and, you know, people are getting vaccinated, so I don't have to wear my mask and I don't have to worry about going home, you know, to visit mom and dad. And I'm just like, yes, you do. We are not at that place yet. I was reading a horrifying piece online. I'm sure many of you saw, because it was making the rounds on Facebook and Twitter yesterday, I think, about wedding photographers in Texas, and just like the hell that they're in, you know, because like with every other front-facing industry, it is a constant battle between taking care of your health and being able to make enough money, since, again, apparently $1,200 back in April is enough to see us through. You know, and the beginning of the story was this photographer who went and had already spent a couple of maskless hours photographing the bride and groom, when one of the bridesmaids came up and was like, oh, you know, thank you so much for being here, you know, with everything happening with the groom. The photographer was like, what do you mean? And that's how she found out that the groom had tested positive for COVID and was just wandering around maskless. And this photographer left before the reception was done, and the wedding party was horrified and thought it was unprofessional. And then this woman who has 3 kids, I believe the article said, and works for herself as a wedding photographer, got COVID. And you're like, so you're willing to kill people, potentially, or at the very least, give them huge medical bills, screw up their livelihood, endanger their children, so that you can have a wedding that pretends like we're not in the middle of a pandemic. And it's just, when I think of the number of friends who have had to postpone, you know, big celebratory events this year because of COVID, when I think of the number of friends who have had to attend funerals on Zoom because they are not able to travel to go to a funeral, I am just so livid at these people who are out there just trying to pretend that everything is fine and endangering everyone who comes across their path. It is mind-blowing to me. You know, if this has taught me anything, it has taught me how toxic the American mantra of freedom has become. Because basically, the way that it's used now is to justify any me-focused, harmful behavior based on don't take away my freedom. I can infect people with a potentially deadly disease if I want to. That's my right. It's like, no, at some point, you need to fucking care about your community and about the people around you. Like the meme says, I don't know how to explain to you that you should care about other people. All right, upright rows, my friends. And it's just, I don't understand. And when I think of how many people in my life are, you know, having to put their own lives on the line because they don't have the option to work from home. And when I think of, you know, all of the people in my life who have done everything as correctly as they could with regards to quarantine and are still getting COVID, I'm just like, this all could have been so much better handled. And we know that because we've seen those results in other countries. We've seen places like New Zealand and Thailand, I believe it is, where people are out and about. People are gathering in groups, hugging each other, going to concerts because they took this seriously at the beginning. And that's what we could have had. All right, look, it's a lot. The chat's blowing up, I'm sure, because this is a downer of a class. Oh my God, yeah. Like I said, I figured that most of you probably saw that wedding photographer piece. Yeah, it's her wedding day. Like, really? Oh, so your wedding day is worth other people dying. Kids dying, working professionals dying, single parents dying. Awesome. Great. Yeah. It's just, oh, my friends. I want us all to stay safe until we can meet in the meet space again. So as we start through with our ball pass-throughs for our last time through these exercises, let's make a commitment to each other here on the stream to do what we can to keep each other safe until we are able to gather together again. And I do very much hope that that will be sometime in 2021. I really do. But I also want to make sure for myself that I am paying attention to the reality of the world and not trying to push for gathering before it's truly safe, because I want everybody to be safe. I want everybody taking care of themselves, not having to choose between your health and not being homeless. I want to be able to see you all again. Dang it. That's what I say. That's what I say. I'm just incredibly frustrated. But, you know, incredibly moved by some of the things that I see. And that's the thing. This has absolutely brought out the worst in a lot of people. And it's also brought out the best in some people. And it is easy to focus on the negative, and obviously I've been doing that for most of class. But as we get into our final back bridge off the chair, it is good to remember that there are good things happening out there too. There are people taking care of each other, trying to keep each other safe, and you know, taking this seriously and wearing a mask and quarantining as much as they can. And, you know, doing that on behalf of the vulnerable, immunocompromised, older, the people who are in higher risk groups, and also doing that on behalf of the people who are not able to stay at home, who are being forced to head out into the world and work and interact with other people, you know. So for all of the folks who are really strictly quarantining, I really appreciate you. And for all of us who are not able to stay home. I see you, and like I said the other day, I wish that I had a better world for you, but I'm gonna keep fighting to make it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you kidding me, Amanda? Are you kidding me? I'm just glad it's over so I can stop feeling so guilty for doing it. You know, wow. Wow, that is something. That is something to see. Oh man, yeah, please do. I'm already seeing red, so I'm just gonna, basically, I'll just be sending you that Madeline Kahn gif of flames on the side of my face. What are we doing next? Oh yeah. Wide squat with a knee turn, my apologies. See, I had to remind even myself of what the heck we were doing. Yeah, it's just, well, and weddings in particular are just, I do not find them at all, like, I can't give you any benefit of the doubt for that, because weddings are events with alcohol, and let me tell you, alcohol makes people act in very unsafe ways. And so even if you do start out the evening with a little better mask protocol, like, you're telling me that by the end of the night, when people have been going up to your open bar, that they're all still wearing their masks correctly and putting them back on when they're not actively eating or drinking? Like, really? You're telling me that, huh? Because based on the evidence I've seen, I don't believe you. Oh, it's just, I am very glad of the friends of mine who canceled their things and moved them to later dates, because I was not looking forward to having to be like, look, I love you, and also I'm not coming to your special day in 2020. Oh my God. Yeah, and that's a whole other kettle of fish, you know. My grandfather was an Episcopal minister, and he would be absolutely horrified by all of these churches being like, no, it's my right to meet in person. He would be so angry. He was a man, he was a kind and gentle man, but he fought for justice, and he took care of his community, and he would not be happy to see all of these supposedly religious institutions being so selfish and so obviously dispassionate towards the safety and health of their congregations. That is, yeah, that's another pretty horrifying side impact of all of this. And it's just, you know, American evangelicalism and fundamentalism really doesn't actually bear much similarity to what I consider to be the core tenets of Christianity. You know, you see these mega churches out there getting PPE loans. Not PPE. PPP? I forget. You see these mega churches getting fucking small business loans while small businesses are going out of business. And you just like, why? Why is this a thing? Kanye apparently got a freaking small business loan. Like, are you kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. How dare you? How dare you? Take that money and give it to actual small businesses, or GTFO, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh, you know what is feeling good? This weightlifting. This is feeling really good. You know, we're working the arms nice and hard this week. I didn't want to do as much. See, I do pay attention. I didn't give you intense leg day today. I was nice. I gave you intense arm day today. Because it is good to vary the intensive movement. Woof. Yeah, I am feeling it. Oh, love that. I love that sensation where you're just like, oh, I can tell that I'm working these muscles, and that is a good feeling. Okay. Well, we got 1 minute left in this timer, and then we will have one more exercise. Our last round of upright rows. And then we'll be done, and we'll do a little bit of stretching, just a little. Probably some neck stretching, just because I need it. And if you, like me, carry tension in your neck, then you probably need it too. And then we'll close out our class. I appreciate y'all giving me a platform to vent about these things. It's, I find as the months have gone on that I am less and less forgiving about blatant, harmful, selfish behaviors. And, there is a difference between focusing on oneself, taking care of oneself, and taking actions for our own pleasure or happiness at the physical or emotional expense of other people. And the latter is not okay. And it's something that we all do sometimes. It's something we all have to contend with. But, what you do when that happens, when you are made aware of it, is you learn and you grow and you don't do that again, or you make a more concerted effort to not do it again. You don't dig in and go, yeah, my freedom, don't tell me that I can't stab babies in the streets. That's what is the country coming to if I don't have the freedom to stab babies in the streets, It's that kind of bullshit. I'm swearing a lot today. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Amanda, absolutely. Oh, only champagne for the toast. I like that. I definitely, as I've gotten older, have become more and more ashamed of my own behavior at various weddings. Because, man, bartenders have to go through some shit to get through open bar weddings. And a lot of drunk idiots, wandering up at all hours and then trying to cut people off. It's like, oh, I am sorry for my part in that particular activity. Well done, my friends. Well done. Yeah, we're not going to stretch too much, but let's shake our arms out, because I am feeling my arms. My arms got some work. Let them swing back and forth a little bit. And let's do our nice shoulder tricep stretch. You know it pretty well at this point. It's feeling good today, though. That's for sure. Okay. Yeah, and then let them swing out. Bring the other arm up and across. Oof. Dang. think I talked about this the other day. This is definitely one of those stretches that when I was younger, I don't think I realized how good it actually is. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I'm feeling that stretch. It's nice. All right, now let's take that first arm up. Let the hand come down to the top of the shoulders. Take the other arm and just push it down a little bit so we're coming at that shoulder stretch from another direction. Okay. Nice breaths. Big breaths, and then release. Other side. There we go. Oh yeah. Getting some good stretching in there. Let's do a quick standing quad stretch. So just take one foot into the same hand, pull that heel into your butt, and just feel that stretch along your quad. I recommend putting your hand on something for balance. You can, obviously, if you have the balance, just chill there. But even if you have the balance, it just takes away from actually intensifying the stretch. So yeah, just really focus on the stretch. Don't worry about falling over. Now let's do the opposite side. You know how much I love that floor quad stretch, but the standing quad stretch definitely gets the job done as well. Just make sure you're really pulling that heel as close into your butt as you can, okay? Nice. And never hurts to just roll over the top of the toes. Get that nice stretch going along the top of the foot, up into the shin. Hey. And there we are. There we are. That was a great class. That was a nice, I'm really feeling the strength training today, which is good. We had some new exercises in there, which was a lot of fun. And I'm feeling good. And hey, I'm suddenly realizing that next Friday is Christmas Day. I still may end up teaching, but I also may decide to take that as a holiday. So I'll let you know next week. Wow, yeah, that's wild. And for anybody who's been celebrating Hanukkah, today's the last day of that, I believe. So happy Hanukkah. I hope that your celebrations were lovely. I've still got 2 slices of brisket in my fridge from one of my friends who usually throws a large Hanukkah party every year, and obviously was not able to do that this year, so she decided to be the brisket fairy instead, which I'm very excited about. But yes, many holidays in the month of December, and I know that I do not have a comprehensive list of them. And I was reading too, something that interested me, which is that Hanukkah is not usually one of the biggest holidays in the Jewish faith, and it's more proximity to this large Christian holiday that has sort of ramped up its importance, which I found interesting. It'd be something that I want to talk about with some of my friends, but it is always good to recognize people's celebrations, and that is important. I know. Next year we will have latkes and brisket and crab cakes and man, just go through the year in one giant hug. Can we just do that? Because I miss that. I miss that so much. A friend of mine told me she was pregnant, and I instinctively went for a hug before I had to go. Oh, wait, nope, can't do that. Hey. But you know what? We can gather here, and I love gathering here. I love getting to do class with all of you. You are You're keeping me going in a lot of ways, and I super appreciate that. And I am so looking forward to everything that we can do in 2021. Yeah, hope you come with me on this ride. So we've got one more class this week, and it's going to be tomorrow morning, Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. It's the weekend kickoff for awesome strength and stamina focused bodyweight class. Always a great time, so definitely join me if you're able and awake. I also fancified my Twitch page a little bit. I finally was like, oh, I should actually, put an about me on there and like schedule countdown and stuff like that. Crazy times. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of those handles will be in my end cards, but they're all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel, Blanche Case Fitness, is where I upload all the VODs from this stream, so you never have to miss a class. And lots of supplemental material is going to start going up there, so definitely head over there and subscribe. If you want to help support me financially in making these streams, I have a coffee account, Blanche Case Fitness, and donations are always very much appreciated. You are helping me to be able to keep doing this. And if you want to help me be able to ramp this up and do even more with this in the new year, keep growing this community and this channel, then please do follow, tell your friends, coworkers, loved ones, anyone looking for an awesome class. We hit 50 subscribers today. Thank you. And I'm just so excited about that. And there's so much more that I hope to be able to do in 2021. And yeah, so let's do it. Let's do it, my friends. Let's keep building this channel because it's a great little corner of the internet. But for now, let's enjoy our evenings. So make sure to finish your water and then refill it and rehydrate. Keep rehydrating. Get yourself a good dinner. Have a good shower. Relax, whatever that means to you. And I will see you back here again tomorrow. Mwah. Have a great night.